Talkatoo podcast.
English conversation made easy.
Hi everyone, I'm Lila. It's really nice to be here with you again today.
Hey guys, I'm Dilo. Thanks for spending a little part of your day with us.
This is Talkatoo English podcast, where we have relaxed conversations about everyday life while helping you practice natural English.
Yeah, grab a cup of coffee or tea if you have one, get comfortable, and let's spend a little time together.
Dilo, can I ask you something?
Of course.
If someone gave you two choices right now, living in the middle of a busy city or living in a quiet countryside village, which one would you choose?
Oh, that's actually a difficult question. A few years ago, I would have answered the city without even thinking. But now, I'm not so sure anymore.
Really? What changed?
I don't know. I think when I was younger, the city felt exciting. Tall buildings, bright lights, cafes everywhere, shopping malls, concerts, restaurants. It felt like everything was happening there.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what attracts so many people. Cities often feel full of opportunities and possibilities.
Exactly. You can study almost anything, meet new people, find different kinds of jobs, and try new experiences. It feels like life moves faster.
And for many people, that's very exciting, especially when they're just starting university or beginning their careers.
Yeah, I remember talking to a friend who grew up in a small town. He said moving to the city felt like opening a completely different world.
I can imagine that. Suddenly, there are museums, bookstores, parks, cinemas, sports centers, and people from many different places.
Exactly. He told me that every weekend felt like an adventure because there was always somewhere new to go.
And that's one of the biggest advantages of city life: convenience. Everything feels close. If you need groceries, they're nearby. If you want to meet friends, there are hundreds of cafes. If you want to learn something new, there are classes almost everywhere.
Yeah, sometimes I think people don't move to cities because they love buildings. They move because they love possibilities.
I really like that idea. It's not necessarily the city itself, it's what the city offers.
Exactly. And I guess that's why so many young people leave their hometowns. They're looking for opportunities they can't easily find where they grew up.
Yeah, and that's completely understandable. Every place gives us something different. Cities often offer more choices, more jobs, and more chances to meet people with different backgrounds.
Although I have to admit, sometimes I wonder if having so many choices is always a good thing.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, because sometimes when everything is possible, it becomes harder to decide what you actually want.
I think that's something we'll definitely explore. Because while cities offer many exciting opportunities, they also bring challenges that people don't always think about at first.
Yeah, maybe city life isn't only about what's exciting. Maybe it's also about what we quietly give up in return. Okay, so we talked about all the exciting things cities offer, but I have to ask, do you think people sometimes pay too high a price for all that convenience?
I think that's a really important question, because every place has advantages and disadvantages. Cities make many things easier, but they can also make life more complicated in other ways.
Yeah, I remember visiting a friend who lives in a big city. Everything was close by: restaurants, supermarkets, cafes, gyms. He could walk almost everywhere.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons people enjoy city life. You can save a lot of time because so many services are nearby.
Exactly. But then I noticed something else. He was always in a hurry. Even when we were just going to have lunch, he kept looking at the time.
That's interesting. Sometimes cities don't just move fast, They encourage us to move fast too.
Yeah, it almost felt like everyone was rushing somewhere.
I think many cities have that kind of energy. People are working, studying, commuting, meeting deadlines, and trying to fit many things into one day.
Hmm. And after a while, that pace starts to feel normal.
Exactly. Until one day you realize you've been busy for weeks without really slowing down.
Hmm. Another thing I noticed was the noise. Cars, buses, construction, people talking. There was always some kind of sound.
Yeah, constant noise can be surprisingly tiring. Sometimes we don't notice it because we get used to it, but our minds are still processing it all day.
Hmm. I never thought about that before. I guess quiet has value too.
It really does. Quiet gives our minds a chance to rest. That's one reason some people feel so relaxed when they leave the city for a few days.
Hmm. But I kind of disagree a little. I think some people actually enjoy that busy atmosphere. They say silence feels lonely.
Yeah, and that's completely fair. Everyone is different. Some people feel energized by busy streets and crowded cafes. Others feel calmer in quieter places.
So it really depends on your personality?
Partly, yes. But I also think it depends on the stage of your life. A city that feels exciting when you're 22 might feel exhausting when you're 45. Or maybe the opposite happens. People change.
That's true. What we need from life isn't always the same.
Exactly. And convenience has its own cost too. In many cities, people deal with expensive housing, long commutes, crowded public transport, and less personal space.
Yeah, sometimes people spend 2 hours every day just getting to work and back home.
Exactly. So while cities can give us more opportunities, they also ask for something in return. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's time, sometimes it's peace of mind.
I never thought of it like that. Convenience isn't free.
Yeah, every lifestyle involves trade offs. The important question isn't which place is better, it's which trade offs fit the life you want to build.
I really like that question because maybe choosing where to live isn't just choosing a location. Maybe it's choosing the kind of everyday life you want to wake up to. I've been thinking about something. A lot of people move to cities because they want a better life. Better jobs, better opportunities, more exciting experiences. But does a busier life automatically become a happier life?
That's a really interesting question. I don't think being busy and being happy are the same thing. Sometimes they happen together, but sometimes they're completely different.
Yeah, because I've met people who always have something to do. Their calendars are full, their phones never stop ringing, and every weekend is planned. But they still seem tired.
Yeah. I think modern life often teaches us that being busy means we're successful. If we're always working, always moving, always doing something, we feel like we're making progress.
But after a while, it can become exhausting.
Exactly. And sometimes we become so busy building a good life that we forget to actually enjoy it.
Wow, that's a strange thought.
It is. Imagine spending every day rushing to the next meeting, the next project, the next goal, and then realizing you haven't had a quiet afternoon in months.
I think that's why weekends disappear so quickly. People spend the whole week feeling busy, and then they spend the weekend trying to recover.
Yeah, and then Monday comes again.
Exactly. It becomes a cycle.
But I don't think the city itself is the problem. I know people who live in very busy cities, but have learned how to slow down. They go for morning walks, visit small parks, read in cafes, or simply protect a little quiet time every day.
So maybe happiness depends more on how we live than where we live.
I think so. A peaceful person can often create peaceful moments, even in a noisy place. And someone who never slows down can still feel stressed in the countryside.
I kind of disagree a little. I think the environment still matters a lot.
Oh, I agree with that. Our surroundings definitely affect us. Living somewhere with cleaner air, less traffic, or more green spaces can make a real difference. I'm just saying that our habits matter too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because if I bring a stressful lifestyle with me, changing cities probably won't solve everything.
Exactly. Sometimes we think moving somewhere new will automatically make us happier. But if we don't change how we live, we often carry the same stress with us.
Hmm. I guess happiness isn't something you find at a new address.
Yeah, I really like that. It's something we build through the way we spend our days, the relationships we have, and the choices we make.
Hmm. So maybe the goal isn't to have the busiest life or even the most exciting life.
Exactly. Maybe the goal is to build a life that feels meaningful to you. For some people, that's the energy of a city. For others, it's the quiet of a small town. And for many people, it's finding a balance between the two.
I think that's a much healthier way to look at it. Because happiness probably isn't hidden inside one place. It's hidden inside the way we choose to live there. Whenever people talk about moving to the city, I usually imagine a happy story. Someone packs a suitcase, arrives in a big city, finds an amazing job, meets new friends, and everything works out.
Yeah, I think movies make it look that way too. But real life is usually a little more complicated.
Have you ever heard a story that stayed with you?
Yeah, actually, I have. A few months ago, I read a post from a young woman who grew up in a small village. Ever since she was a teenager, she dreamed of living in a big city. She believed that once she moved there, everything would become exciting and meaningful.
I think a lot of people have that dream.
Exactly. So after finishing university, she finally moved. At first, it was everything she had imagined. There were beautiful cafes, busy streets, concerts, museums, and people from all over the country. Every weekend felt like an adventure.
So it started really well.
Yeah, but after a few months, something changed. She wrote that although she was surrounded by millions of people, she had never felt so lonely.
Wow. That's something people don't always expect.
Exactly. She spent hours on crowded trains, worked long days, and came home to a small apartment where she barely knew her neighbors. She realized that living around people wasn't the same as feeling connected to people.
I think that's a really important difference.
Yeah, and one sentence she wrote stayed with me. She said, "I finally found the city I always wanted, but I had forgotten to build a life inside it."
That's a beautiful sentence.
Yeah, because she slowly realized that happiness wasn't waiting at the end of the move. She had to create it herself by making friends, finding routines she enjoyed, joining local activities, and giving herself time to feel at home.
So the city wasn't the problem.
Exactly. The city gave her opportunities, but it couldn't automatically give her belonging.
I think that's true for many big changes in life. We expect a new place, a new job, or a new relationship to solve everything.
Yeah, but often those things are only the beginning. After that, we still have to build a meaningful, everyday life.
I really like that idea. Because sometimes people think moving somewhere new means becoming a new person.
Exactly. But no matter where we go, we still need friendship, purpose, rest, and connection. Those needs don't disappear just because the skyline changes.
So maybe the biggest lesson isn't the city will make you happy or the countryside will make you happy.
Yeah, maybe the lesson is that every place gives you possibilities. What truly matters is how you slowly turn those possibilities into a life that actually feels like home.
After today's conversation, I don't think this is really a discussion about cities anymore. It feels more like a discussion about the kind of life we want.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. At first, it sounds like we're comparing two places. But in the end, we're really talking about what makes people feel happy, peaceful, and connected.
Hmm. And I think I understand now why so many people choose cities. They offer opportunities, excitement, convenience, and the chance to meet new people. Those things really matter.
They do. And for many people, living in a city is exactly the right choice. They enjoy the energy, the diversity, and the feeling that there's always something happening.
Hmm. But at the same time, I also understand why some people decide to leave.
Yeah, because after a while, priorities can change. Maybe you start looking for quieter mornings instead of busier streets. Maybe you want more time with family, more nature, or simply a slower rhythm.
I like that word, rhythm.
Yeah, because every place has its own rhythm. Some are fast, some are slow. Neither one is automatically better. The important thing is finding the rhythm that helps you live well.
Hmm. I think that's something I never considered before. I always asked, which place is better, instead of asking, which place fits the life I want.
Exactly. Because a beautiful city won't automatically make you happy, just like a quiet village won't automatically give you peace. Happiness depends on much more than your address.
It depends on the people around you, the habits you build, the way you spend your time.
Yeah, and whether you feel like you belong. Home is not always the place where you were born. Sometimes it's the place where you can truly be yourself.
I really like that idea because I think many people are searching for a place when maybe they're actually searching for a feeling.
Yeah, a feeling of comfort, connection, safety, and purpose. And sometimes we find that feeling in a busy city. Sometimes we find it in a quiet countryside town. Sometimes we create it ourselves, little by little.
If someone listening is thinking about moving to a new city or staying where they are, I guess there isn't one perfect answer.
No, there isn't. Every choice comes with something wonderful and something difficult. The important thing is choosing the life that feels meaningful to you, not the one that simply looks impressive to other people.
I think that's a really comforting way to end this conversation.
Yeah, because wherever you are right now, maybe you don't need to compare your life with someone else's. Instead, ask yourself one simple question: am I slowly building a life that feels like home to me?
Thank you for spending this time with us today. We really hope this conversation gave you something to think about.
Take care of yourself this week, wherever you are in the world.
And remember, sometimes home is not something you find all at once. Sometimes it's something you create, one day at a time.
Bye.
See you next time.